figure it out.
Okay.
All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of North 100, a Canadian Highlander podcast. This time coming to you live from Desert Bus for Hope. I'm Serge. Joining me as always is Alex. And just imagine there's two other really intelligent people sitting on the side of us.
Wow.
Not.
Whoa.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow.
Harsh dunks.
Today's episode of North 100 is brought to you by you, the wonderful people watching us live over at Twitch TV/Desert Bus. Thank you very much. Starting as always, we have the best card you're not playing. Alex, what is the super secret tech you are playing today?
I'm going to talk to you about Tomb of Arami.
A what?
What is a Tomb of Arami?
You ever want to kill somebody with a 50-cent card?
Yes, I do.
This is ultimate secret tech in exactly one deck.
'Kay.
Well, maybe you could put this elsewhere.
Well, what is this card?
It's a land.
'Kay.
It taps for black, and it pings you for 1, unless you control an ogre. Don't worry about that ogre clause. It's just a pain land that taps for black.
Does it come into play tapped or untapped?
No, untapped.
That's
So
fine.
it just taps for black.
Okay.
Could we see
It's a swamp.
Tomb of Arami?
Yeah, if we could bring that up. But it has an activated ability.
Okay.
Are you ready for this one?
All right, lay it on me.
2 black tap, sacrifice all lands you control.
Sorry, what?
All lands.
Okay.
Put a legendary 5/5 demon spirit token with flying onto the battlefield.
What?
It
What?
sounds awful,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Sacrifice all lands you control.
I'm embarrassed to admit
5/5?
that Alex has actually killed me with this card more times than I'd like to admit.
Really?
Yeah.
The deck is mono black aggro, or sometimes black mold, which is the Golgari variant of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You play this out, it will just be like a swamp. And then end of their turn, near the end, you make a 5/5 they can't block and just get them.
Yeah.
You just get them. The only time you activate this is when you're about to lethal them.
It's a land. It's an uncounterable lava axe, provided they don't have removal.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's fragile, and you can the potential for you to get blown out is very high. However,
How could you possibly have died to that?
the potential to get your opponent with this is higher than you might think.
The issue is in an aggro deck, if you're on a really hard clock, it doesn't come to play tap, so it doesn't hit you with tempo, and you can just 5 them out of nowhere.
And you're not worried about counter spells.
Nope,
Correct?
because you can't counter it.
Or sorcery speed removal. So it's interesting. Again, it is all in the no holds bar black decks that want to do
yeah,
stuff.
this is like probably not a very good card, but it actually works in that deck.
So today for our short episode of North 100, the theme we wanted to talk about is ways to make your deck, this could be any deck, but we want to talk about Highlander decks, more awesome.
More awesome.
And if we got some time, maybe some quick Q&A and see how things go.
Yeah, we can just...
Yeah, so what does more awesome mean? We were trying to think of like a good term to talk about this, foiling out your deck, blinging out your deck, just trying to put more fancy in. Basically deck cosmetics. So you've got your favorite deck, you've got a magic budget set aside, you want to make it prettier, you want to make it more customizable. What are some of the things that you want to do to make your deck more beautiful? Defrost started off, white border everything. So one of the more classic ways to start something off here. Looks like Graham might have a question or some input on
No,
this.
I'm just pointing at where it says Alex.
Oh, the driver is in
No,
fact.
I don't.
Oh,
it's not important.
Okay, yeah. So a classic example of this would be foil your deck, bedazzle your deck,
Yeah,
shine it up.
bedazzle.
Now this isn't quite your style.
Yeah, I mean, well, it varies from person to person how they want to just like once you converge on a deck that you really like, or maybe even just a set of cards you like.
Yeah.
Jules Ritter in chat. I'm driving right now.
Yeah. How you decide to enhance that and make it maybe show off a little bit is sort of up to the individual person. And at the basic way is you get foils, and some people will foil their whole deck.
Yeah.
Like
That sounds
this is like-
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be. This
Especially
is like
Highlander.
The
grease?
Yeah, the grease. He's got Grixis control, and it's like completely foiled except for the vintage stuff that
Isn't foil
foils
OG
don't
dual lands.
exist
If you
for
ever
it.
want to see somebody foil Cruel Ultimatum you, and then foil Snapcaster Flashback foil Cruel Ultimatum, that is the person who will do that to you.
Yep. Other people will foil like individual cards that are important to them.
Yeah. Like
I
combo
could
pieces or
Yeah,
something?
it's like, you know, maybe your whole deck is normal and then your scape shift is foil.
I've done that with masterpieces because I kind of fell in love with them. Maybe not the cheapest way to make your deck a little bit shinier,
That
but
actually kind of jumps us into like another category, because there's pack foil.
Yep.
And then there's like promo foil.
Yep.
And that opens up an entire like cornucopia of things.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of different versions.
well, there's also the full art alternates, like all the WotC released alternate art versions of stuff. I haven't been a fan of those personally. I like them, but I think it brings us to what I call probably the preference that both Alex and I have, which is the OG. The OG way to make your deck the shiniest possible, which is nothing but the original printings of every card possible.
This is how I kept myself from buying foils. I actually don't like foils. The way I enhance my deck is by getting first printings of everything, or close to first printings. There's some exceptions I'll make. Like there's certain ones where the art is just atrocious.
Yeah.
And I won't get it that way. Or if the I really like texted full art promos. I don't like the textless ones.
Really?
I don't.
So I've got
I need to read it at some point.
Yeah, Craig Toger is talking about the textless promo, whatever possible. So that brings us an interesting thing. We have in Highlander the sort of the entry level deck, which I think is a mistake, but people typically use a red deck or a goblin deck as the way to like introduce people to the format. And so often people will show up to Yellow Jacket visiting from out of town. They've heard about Canadian Highlander. They really want to try it. And somebody's like, "Hey, can you lend me a deck?" And then a person in like a regular will be like, "Here, play my goblin deck," and they hand it to you, and it's all textless or foreign foil cards, and you're like, "I can't read a single card in this. I've never seen these cards before."
I don't know what a flame javelin does. It looks like someone's dying, but
That's all Magic cards
Yeah,
to
that's all
me.
Magic.
Yeah?
That's pretty
Well,
good.
at least with most cards, it's like, read the card, and you're like, "I can't. There are no words on this card."
yeah.
And I think the worst one for that is actually, there was a promo foil version of Cryptic Command,
Whoa!
which was a modal card that had 4 modes, and nobody... Why you would put a modal card with no text on it?
Don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it. It's very pretty, but
It's not good.
it's. I mean, yeah. I prefer to have like English text on all my cards.
Yep.
It's for my own reference as well, because I'm like, what does this actually do again? So
Yeah.
some
Why?
examples, like I have what are the ones that I have? The full art reclamation sage looks really, really good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That was a nice one.
The full art of braid is really hot.
Yeah.
Electrolyze.
There it is. There's the offender.
Yep.
There you go. Do you know that that card actually has 6 paragraphs of text on it?
Yeah, like I do have one like I'm just chiming in here. I'm
Yeah.
now your third co-host. The only full art like card I have anywhere is Damnation, because we all know what that does. But I hate that when somebody's like, "I play a Cryptic Command doing this," and I'm like, I
You're
guess
"Are
I believe you."
cheating?"
Yeah, I think there's some that it's appropriate for, and others not so much. But yeah, damnation is just like blow up everything. No, it can't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 2 other classic ways that people will change stuff. One is their land base,
Oh yeah.
which is another great one. Like, which basic land
Oh
you use.
yes, this one's
Right?
important.
Yeah,
Yes.
because the basic land you pick is another one. And the other one is full altars. But let's change that. So what is your basic land of choice? Does it change?
I went back and forth for a while on
Okay.
what my basics are, because I build my Highlander decks from a toolkit,
Okay.
which is a little bit like a cube. So I have a number of sleeved basics, and they're all the same art. I was really into the chippy basics from Alara Block. They're really, really pretty. But I also like a bunch of the basics from Time Spiral. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember the name. Craig Mullins, I think. Those ones are hot. What I'll actually tend to do is I've never found like a set of all 5 that I like completely.
Sure.
So I tend to just sort of pair them by artist.
Have you seen the? There's 2 times once if they took every art from a particular printing, put them side by side, they all formed into one giant piece.
No, that one's really cool.
That was the
was
different
Lorwyn.
planes. Well, that was the lore one, but before that, the planes art from Ice Age had that. If you put every planes one, and then the snow-covered one finished off the last set.
Those are cool.
Do you have a co-host number 3? What's your favorite basic land?
Well, I mean, since most of my decks are mono black, because
Yeah. What's your favorite swamp printing?
Okay, my favorite swamp, and I can't remember what printing it's from. It's just like a really, really basic, normal, like, corset swamp. It's the one with the little purple flowers in the front.
Yes, that's my favorite one too.
I love that swamp.
Is that from Invasion? The one that looks like it has a little alien that's just like, meh.
No, it doesn't have an alien in it. It's quite nice looking.
No, not the art, the actual expansion symbol.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
They reprinted this swamp multiple times.
Odyssey Pink Lotus Swamp. That is.
The Pink Lotus Swamp, is that it?
Yeah.
I love that swamp.
Yeah.
Also, I really like all the Lorwyn art.
Yeah.
Even though it's ridiculous, I love it.
Serge,
Yo.
I have one other thing that I do.
Yeah.
That's maybe a little silly.
Okay.
So if I have to have like 3 or more basics of a given type, I'll draw from those pre-sleeved categories.
Okay.
If I have exactly one basic, I will use one of my 5 unhinged.
Oh,
Like
I didn't know
the-
you had those. The full art ones.
Yeah, I have.
Cool.
I have one of each, and I'm probably never going to get more of them. So that's if my deck has only one.
Huh.
If I have exactly 2 basics,
Yeah.
because I'm running Tainted Pact,
Yeah.
I will have that one
And,
and a snow-covered basic
Yeah.
from Cold Snap,
yeah.
which is secret tech. If you cast the spell Tainted Pact,
Do you know Tainted Pack, Kathleen? This card is sweet. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know if it's legal in Commander or not, but this is a really cool tutor for any mono black deck, or basically most decks.
I think
Maybe
it is
not
legal
mono.
in
not mono
Commander.
black.
Mono's not a great call. You probably wanted a 3-color deck.
Yeah,
So Tainted Pack is
1 and a black instant. You start revealing cards off the top of your library until you choose to stop, or you hit 2 duplicates.
Oh, yeah.
You hit a card that's already being revealed.
Right.
And then you exile everything except the one you chose to stop at, and you put that into your hand.
there's the printing.
Nice.
That's
Isn't
not
that a
the
beautiful
swamp I was
swamp?
thinking of.
No, oh, that's what I was thinking of. And you see the little alien symbol expansion I was talking about?
Yeah.
A Tainted Pact.
Tainted Pact, yes.
Yeah.
Just like that engineering.
That's not the art you're talking
So-
about, Kathleen.
No, it's like little purple flowers. I'm
Yeah.
sure somebody will get there in chat.
So the tech is that
Not that one either.
you build your deck so that there are no duplicates.
Yeah.
And
But that's a very nice Lorwyn swamp.
basic land and snow-covered land, even though they're both have the basic.
Does this go into
super tech, it's
Charbelcher?
okay.
Tainted Pact? Nah.
Not so much.
So
Because doesn't Charbelcher like flip cards to
it
sell
does,
them?
but that's the onslaught symbol, Serge. Charbelcher in Legacy can get away with no lands. Charbelcher in Highlander is a little bit different because it's a lot less
little
consistent. So you often end up playing, oh, what's the name of that card? There's a card that actually lets you go through and remove any number of lands in your deck. So once you have Charbelcher in play, you remove everything from your deck and then dome them through your remaining library. But I can't remember what that sorcery is called. I'm going to shark
I
forever.
don't know. But yeah, anyways, basics. I like picking.
Mana Severance, thank you, chat.
Right, Mana Severance.
Somebody got a pretty sick burn on me in there, which was like, Serge, you obviously don't have a favorite basic art, or else you wouldn't be so salty whenever Blood Moon gets resolved against you. Which I think is fairly simple on that one.
That one.
There you go.
I just really like that swamp. I think it's nice.
Oh,
Very good.
Hey, Kelvin got it.
Any other ones? Yeah.
I
So
like the full art
uh,
version of that too. Yeah.
there's altars.
Oh, there's a full art version of that. Wow.
Well, no,
that's an
that's
altar.
obviously an altar.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of altars that I've picked up over the years as well. Nelson's wife Kendall used to do just beautiful magic altars, so I've got some in Enchantress and stuff like that. Those are a little bit harder to acquire because you either need to be pretty confident in altering your own cards, which can be kind of risky because there's a lot of value in the secondary market for magic cards. So to just like pick up a Sharpie and start drawing on it is kind of tough.
Yeah, that's real scary.
Do you know who used to do altars?
Who?
Marshall.
Really? Marshall Sutcliffe?
Marshall Sutcliffe.
No kidding.
Many years ago. I hope I recall paying him. I thought what it was a fair amount of money at the time, and I hope it was. So now I can't remember. But Graham has a Sigarda, Host of Herons, altered by Marshall for Commander.
Huh.
I don't think I paid him enough. I think it was probably like $30 or $40 or something. But there you go.
I mean, that seemed fine sometimes like that. I've had people do partial altar, where you just take the art and extend it outside of the box slightly. So you see a Bird of Paradise, like the 7th edition printing of Bird of Paradise, and the tail feathers just kind of extend past the frame. And then there's one where you keep the whole text box, but you go all the way around the border is another one. And then the full art where you cover up all the text
I
rules.
like it when they keep the text box and they just like extend the art. I like the extended art altars because, as we preview, I kind of like knowing what my cards say.
Right? Yeah, I got an entire set of all of the enchantresses for Enchantress done, where each one of the enchantresses is a full art version, and they're stunning, and those are all Kendall ones. But those are harder to get. So there's a good question right there. Are card alters tournament legal? I kind of stumbled over the words there.
Maybe.
The answer is maybe. So there's a couple things. 1, you need to have the name visible. 2, you need to have the converted mana cost visible. 3, name, CMC.
You need the card type and so forth.
I don't know if you actually need the card type visible. It needs to be recognizable as the original printing of the card.
Yeah,
There you go. There's a version. There's an altar right there where you
I
have the name
believe
and mana
that is
cost.
the one that Marshall did for Graham.
Oh, really?
I think that's Graham's. I haven't seen this commander in a while, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing with any altar is you need to be able to recognize the card as it is. You can't take like a Llanowar elf and then paint it to look like a Sword of Feast and Famine, or something else to try and mislead people.
Still do, but
And the second thing you need to do is the card can't be marked in any way, such that, say, yeah, there you go. There's an example of a bird of paradise with the extended tail feather.
oh, it looks so good.
Yeah. The second thing you have to do is you have to make sure that it's not so thick that the card is marked in your library, or else that'll cause tournament errors and stuff like that. And as always, make sure you check with the tournament organizer or head judge to see if they'll allow it or not.
the actual answer is that it's up to the discretion of the judge at the
Yeah.
event
Yeah.
whether or not you can play it. And if you're worried, I would definitely err on the side of not playing altars.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for those
Yeah, like for
thick
example,
altars.
for example, I think that Marshall's altars Sigarda would be legal, but I don't know if the Bird of Paradise would be because part of the name was covered up.
Well, it depends.
It depends.
Yeah, if
Oh,
the card
really?
is still
It will be-
totally
it will
recognizable on
pass.
it, yeah.
Is putting animate babes on your land, is it cheating or is it tacky? Yes.
Yeah.
Diplomatic.
I'm so mad.
Oh dear.
Pharmacist judge, very experienced L2 judge, just says, please just ask your head judge.
Head judge. Just like, is this okay? It's like,
Maybe.
I wouldn't show that to my mother.
Oh, he
Much
says
less
also,
play it in a
don't
deck.
lie to the head judge that you ask. We do investigate and we will find out. People lie about that?
Ooh.
People lie about many things, Kathleen.
Don't do it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Wanna open it up to a quick Q&A? How are we doing for time, Andrew?
I'm gonna give you. I think we probably get another 3-4 minutes in here. I said 10, but I decided to give you 20.
Woo!
Yeah.
Andrew is a merciful God.
A
Do not
merciful
forget his
God.
benevolence.
Some cues.
All right.
So let's ace some cues, and then we'll bring it to a close in the next 5
That's
I've
minutes.
got a question from the back.
What card am I not playing in my Esper midrange deck that I should be? Alex, you fought me.
Wait, what?
Esper midrange.
Esper midrange.
Esper midrange.
Esper charm?
Gaunty?
No. Well, no, we already
We talked about that
Gaunty.
one last time.
Esper
Are you playing
midrange.
Esper Charm?
Hang on.
No.
Shouldn't you be playing Esper
It's
Charm?
not too bad. Let me find you a blue card that you're not playing.
All right, you keep going on that one. Any other questions while he does some stuff there? There's a lot of text. I'm trying to scan things there. Serge, why don't you play more Commander? Because Canadian Highlander exists. All right, Esper Charm. For Esper, so white, blue, black, instant, choose one of the following modes. Destroy target enchantment, draw 2 cards, or target player discards 2 cards. Hey, Jeech.
Yo.
You ever want to make your opponent discard 2 cards at instant speed?
Oh, only with most of my deck.
There you go. You should be playing Esper Charm.
Draw step, Esper charm you.
Thank you.
Oh, we should leave enough room for powerful magic.
Oh yeah. Well,
I was supposed to come up with a story for that.
well, you can think about that while we answer questions.
All right.
What deck does Savage Knuckleblade go into?
That's right.
It was in
Oh, recommend cards for
Rug Tempo?
Abzan/Junk midrange.
Oh, that's just the value deck.
probably Rug Tempo, like Rug Aggro. Does anybody build Rug Aggro? If not, why not?
Rug aggro?
Yeah.
No, we were talking about that before. Blue always feels weird in the.
I bet you if you just added a hint of blue to red green aggro, you could make it amazing. I mean, like think about red green aggro splashing for like Electrolyze and Edric. I feel like that would be nut.
All right, Edric. Yes. Give me a second. I have to go deep in the tank.
Go deep in the
For
tank.
Powerful magic story.
Is Mental Misstep a good card in Canadian Highlander? Potentially yes. I think it's a little bit of a meta call, but it's definitely playable. How viable is Boros on a budget? I don't know. Boros is a weird one in our format because all the cards exist that should make that deck good, but it's never in our format. I don't know if it's just that nobody's built it, or if it just doesn't work for some reason. Because you think it'd be the best things about White Weenie and Mono Red and just stick them together and it's amazing, but just doesn't show up.
I'm actually going to repeat a powerful magic story.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's one of my favorite stories and I can think about it for those of you who haven't seen the podcast. This is our ending segment. Yeah.
This is what we're going to close with.
So at the end of our segment, we always do a little story we like to call Powerful Magic, in which we talk about sick plays. Normally it's just us getting crushed, but sometimes we also get to play well as well. So I was playing an aggro affinity deck against Storm. Storm is this beautiful mess of a 100-card combo deck that just kills you out of nowhere. And as an aggro deck, I was pretty dead. I had no answer on board. I had an Aether Vial at 2, and my opponent is in the process of killing me. Storm count is at like 40. They've gone through their entire deck, everything. And finally, they had no mana floating. They had just Demonic Tutored for Black Lotus, which they were going to use to probably Yogg Will and then kill me. And so they cast Black Lotus. It's on the stack. I activate Aether Vial, and I flash in Phyrexian Revoker. Phyrexian Revoker naming Black Lotus. They now have no way to do anything. It's just one of those moments where the opponent just kind of looks at you. Does everybody understand what's going on here? So Phyrexian Revoker is a 2-mana artifact creature that says when it comes into play, name a non-land card. Activated abilities of that card cannot be activated.
Which has an important distinction from Pithing Needle.
Yeah.
In that you can name mana abilities.
Yeah, so Phyrexian Revoker is probably the only interaction I had in the entire deck.
And you just drew it.
Yeah, they're 1 card away from crushing me. Revoker names it, and they just look at and they're like, they cast all their cards. It's one of those very fragile combo decks where they're in the middle of everything, and you just poke it, and like a house of cards, the whole thing just crumbles.
It's just like the wheels fell off my cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that in our episode, which is that like combo isn't invincible.
Yeah.
In fact, like if you do need to alter, the way you play and maybe the way you deck construct, but it's like you can beat it with a lot of different decks, and there's always answers.
I know. I already told this story. I couldn't come up with something on the spot. And I wanted to share this one. But the important thing on that is that never scoop. You don't know when you get a chance to sneak in there and get them. And also, the better you know their deck and the better you know what your answer are, the chances you have to actually find that one little opportunity you have to win the game. Yeah. Anyways, this has been North 100. As
Yay.
always, this podcast is brought to you by you on the other side of the camera. Thank you for your viewership. We love it. And if you are at all interested, check out this silly podcast we do where we talk about magic cards.
Yeah, it's on the Loading Ready Run YouTube channel, and you can get it through iTunes.
Yep.
All of that stuff, like wherever your favorite podcasts are downloaded from.
It's also normally a lot longer.
Yeah. And there's 2 other co-hosts
Yeah,
who
and we
know
do a
what they're
lot more
talking
prep
about.
work.
Real quick though, is this mini episode canon?
But
No.
That was
Do we have a cannon?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We always have to
canon.
specify with Quirpline.
get in the cannon, Shinji.
Now you do have to do
Yeah,
something
canon.
outrageous.